The expedition of Lewis and Clark. What was Louisiana Purchase? Well, a treaty that France signed in 1803 where the United States bought the land from the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains and from Canada to the Gulf of Mexico for $15 million. What is the Lewis and Clark Trail? The Lewis and Clark Trail is a way of showing us where Lewis and Clark traveled together through the states of, for example, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, Idaho, Washington, and etc. Who is William Clark? Clark was born in Virginia, but he grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. He joined the militia, then the army 3 years later, and then retired. Then again joined the army and met Lewis there. Complicated much? Who is Meriwether Lewis? Lewis was born near Charlottesville, Virginia. He had a bold and adventurous character. He dropped out of school when he was 18 and joined the military, became a captain, and then secretary for Jefferson. Who would have known? They all set out for the west with 38 men, all expecting to die, so they called themselves the Corps of Discovery. But to their disappointment, no one died except for poor Charles Floyd, who died from his ruptured appendix. Or you could say he really needed to go. Who is Sacagawea, or Sacagawea, however you want to say it? Sacagawea was born in Idaho, but she was taken by Hidatsa Indians as a war prize in North Dakota. She married a French trapper named Toussaint Charbonneau. Lewis and Clark hired her husband, so naturally she went too. Then all of a sudden she was their guide. Was Sacagawea a good guide? Sacagawea was actually hired as a translator for the Shoshone language and not as a guide. But since Lewis and Clark helped her, give birth to her baby, she decided to help them too. And of course she was a good mother and guide. Were there any Indian fights? Of course there were Indian fights. Not. In 1804, the Teton Sioux tribe seemed threatening, but no fighting actually happened. How can anyone say Lewis and Clark discovered anything? Since Native Americans living along the route already knew the places and creatures. Lewis and Clark actually discovered something because they were the ones who gave the Euro-Americans descriptions for certain plants, animals, rivers, and even the Rocky Mountains. Along the route, they took notes and kept journals. They kept track of all the things they saw, such as plants and wildlife. They also kept detailed maps of the places they went to, such as the picture in the background. Like the picture in the background, they often drew a picture of the animal or plant and wrote descriptions about them. Besides doodling and writing descriptions, they also kept detailed journals about the many things they experienced and graphic maps about the places they went to. However, they were all given to President Jefferson after they came back. Are we able to follow the Lewis and Clark expedition route today? No, we are not able to travel the route because the Lewis and Clark expedition traveled by boat up the mouth of the Missouri River, the waters in the Rocky Mountains, and they also used the Columbian River system that led to the Pacific. We are not able to follow the route of the Lewis and Clark expedition today because these pieces of water are blocked by at least 2 dams. Who paid for the expedition? Since the Lewis and Clark expedition was a U.S. Army expedition, the trip was paid by American taxpayers. Ah, the life and hate of American taxes. Meriwether Lewis was indeed a strange man. He had a severe case of depression. He died by taking a bullet or three somewhere above the hip. His death has caused a debate that has lasted nearly 200 years, but we are still not sure whether Lewis's death is a suicide or a murder. But we do know for sure that he did not die from natural occurrences.